The floor is yours.
Hello. Thank you for inviting me. I hope you can hear me, and also you can see my presentation. So let me start with a short story. Let's assume you want to make apple bread, and you take a dough and you put it on a baking sheet, and you try to actually extend the dough, but you can see the dough is breaking. And you try to take pieces from some places and you put on these holes, but it's not working. So it's clear that it is not sustainable solution, right? Because you simply do not have enough dough for your apple bread. So how to have enough dough for apple bread, or how to have more students or people in an IT market? I will tell you today our Accenture experience. And some lessons learned from our experience. We are doing this people reskilling for almost 4 or 5 years already. And the process is maybe from one side very simple and from another side very complicated. Because of course everything starts with awareness, right? So we are very active on social media. We actually share these role models. We share people's stories. We have a lot of interviews. So we try to approach a lot of people who are interested to this reskilling. Of course, we organize a lot of meetings, very personalized meetings with our ecosystem partners, She Goes Tech, with universities, even with pupils. We really meet them, approach them, again, explain the same, make this awareness that this is a great place to work. Then when these people have been approached, they join our first basic knowledge trainings. When we start really with few basics, when they really learn first steps in IT field. Once it is done, we move to next level of reskilling trainings. We call them boot camps. Those usually are, if you are learning during the day, it's like a month. If you are learning on evenings, it can be even 6 months. So you gather again next level of experience, and then you start internship. You start real working in a project. Of course, you have supervisors, you have more experienced colleagues who can help you. You also have mentors. So we do everything to support you. This internship is also usually 3 to 6 months, depends on how complicated is the project, depends on what skills do you have, and etc. And then this year we added one more last step, and this is learning. This is learning, of course, Accenture roadmaps, special skill set roadmaps, but additional to that, we also added academical learning. So everyone who goes through this reskilling journey completes 1 year academical IT training in our Hack Talent training. This is a trainings provided by Latvian University, Vilnius Technical University, and also Riga Technical University. So this is a 1 year training when they also learn like a basic IT education, academical IT education. And the reason for that is that we want to have equal opportunities for every talent who joins Accenture, for people who have IT education and for people who are reskilled who do not have this IT education. And this whole process, when we have a first basic knowledge training, can take a year, can take even more, 1.5 years. Yeah, when they actually move to this practice, when they become our talents, and when they start learning these academical trainings. And then the bottom, you can also see that we are very proud of our people who reskilled, who went through this reskilling journey and really started this new job in IT field. And through these years, we have more than 4,000 applications. We run a lot of training programs, a lot of skill programs. We have more than 1,000 trainees, a lot of interns, and also we have even more now already new joiners. So new talents who join Accenture, who were reskilled and who continue their career growth in Accenture Baltics. And talking about what is important to know from talent perspective, let me just highlight a few of them. So first of all, you need to understand that you do not know everything, and you even do not know very important part of IT. You need to accept it. You definitely need to be ready that you start from junior level. So even if I have a few educations, if I decide to go this journey, I will also start from junior level. You need to also think, how do you distribute your daily expenses? Because of course, this junior level and especially internship will not be paid in the highest level. It is just a normal internship, and afterwards, of course, you will receive junior level salary. You definitely need to consider that you need a time for learning. Yes, you have a light at the end of tunnel because it is a time when you are learning, going through this journey, but still it is a time when you should have this dedicated time for learning. You also need support from family and friends because they need to support you and maybe free up from your daily tasks. And of course, you need to have a passion to mathematics, analytical thinking, problem solving, and technical things overall. What is important to know from company perspective? We really take care for these people who joins us. So all of communication, everything we talk about it, it is really encouragement and communication about it. Everyone in our company knows that this is one of our strategic initiatives and how important it is for our company. As I said, we have a lot of training programs starting from Accenture roadmaps, and also, as I said, these university programs. We have a lot of ecosystem partners who support us here. You definitely need to be ready to have this project practical experience because it is essential that during this learning journey. And it, of course, might vary, depends on situation, but it should be something considered from 3 to 6 months or even longer. It is very complicated onboarding process. Yeah, when you start with discussions, when you start with supporting, when you provide all support these people really need. Definitely, we have a great pool of mentors who takes care of these people, who talk with them on daily basis, because if you start this journey and if you went through already these maybe 6 months trainings, so we do our best, we do everything to keep these people in a company, to really support them in each challenge, to really help them to survive, to jump to the next level. I think this, at least in Accenture, is happening, that it is ongoing internal training content. We improve this training content all the time because things are changing, trends are changing, people, educations are changing, level of educations are changing, and etc. And as I already mentioned, this ecosystem and academical educational partners who helps us to create this program together. You know, this is all I wanted to say you. Thank you.
Zanda, for this. I do have one question which comes to my mind straight away when I hear this, and it refers to what Agur was mentioning earlier, which is that companies, especially in the Baltics, where the talent pool is relatively small, are constantly in competition with each other for talents, hiring, rehiring, Parcel also mentioned this habit of perhaps younger professionals leaping from one position to another. And I'm just wondering, I mean, for Accenture in the Baltics, are there also programs where you cooperate with other IT firms, other firms in the sector, for trying to grow the talent pool even further? Because you've talked about Accenture-specific programs, but perhaps there are also some broader initiatives.
Well, I think everyone knows Start IT program, when we cooperate with schools. And of course, in this program, we have partners, also IT companies, also universities, educational institutions, and etc. So I think this is the biggest, maybe, program we run together with others. And of course, I think we all contribute to universities, to educational institutions, because we all as companies have individual action plans, how we help our education institutions to have this connection with the business, and also to help them to go together with the trends and with the technologies.
And how about cooperation with Baltic governments and the state sector? Because after all, you know, the education system as such is very much state-controlled in the Baltics, as is the case elsewhere in Europe. And do you engage at this level as well?
Yeah, of course, our management is part of discussions with government. Yeah, I'm not aware if we are running together the programs, and I think it is even not allowed. But definitely, in many of our initiatives, we start with talking with government, and of course make them aware, and in some cases even help them to maybe figure out some information, to maybe share some experience from company side, from business side.
Okay, thank you, Zanda. So sorry, Parsla, to steal some of your thunder there, but there were just a couple of questions I wanted to ask.
Yes, I also have a couple of questions. Firstly and foremostly, Zanda, thank you for inspiring so many HR people here in Latvia with all the efforts which you actually put into developing STEM knowledge in this market. I think you just deserve an applause, and if we would have here together, I'll probably give you a hug for that. But I am more practical, as you know, so there is one question which I also wanted to check with you, meaning bootcamp is your way of sourcing nowadays, and as we also met this week earlier, you said reskilling is the only way forward. So how many actually stay with you? What is the loyalty level of those who you retrain, compared maybe to those whom you recruit as the ready IT specialists?
It's very hard question for this time, because you know that we fight for IT talent, and that's clear that we do not have enough the IT talent, neither in Baltics and actually neither across the world. So it's maybe not very fair to compare current attrition level with just these juniors, but still. I can say that this journey is the beginning of this IT journey, and people usually actually grow until the experience levels, let's say, of course, depends on personality, depends on talent, but let's say in 10 years, maybe faster, maybe longer. And here I can say that until you grow by middle of this career path, they are very much motivated and engaged. Yeah, because of course I don't want to maybe say so, but we created them. Of course, they did a lot of contributions, but we created them, yeah? And of course, the passion, the interest, success, it's actually drive their interest and engagement, right? But of course, when they become more and more experienced, they have this interest also from other companies. They also have this more knowledge and more interest to maybe try the same, but in another company. So of course, starting from some kind of mid of level, I think they join just a normal IT attrition level, but at the beginning, definitely. And one more thing, maybe, we also, of course, lose some people during this journey, but this is what we also accept. And at the beginning, we also tell to these people that that's fine if you actually suddenly decide that you do not want to continue. Because sometimes you just need to try to understand that this is not for you. So I think why this reskilling will save the world, that I said, because they start the new career, they start the new skills. They even can learn specific industry. They can be staffed in a specific project. They can be staffed in a projects which are in a specific industry. So basically they are growing skills together with something else. And their motivation and interest to spread this knowledge to the client and project is actually very, very essential.
Thank you once again. I think your approach of building talent rather than buying talent will definitely be much more sustainable if we think of a couple of years in ahead, and you'll definitely have a competitive position because you will know how to do it. And I guess most of the organizations will come to the same conclusion at a certain point of time. So there was another question which maybe is a bit more narrow, but still you might even be able to tell us some funny stories around it. Do you see any changes in demand for your boot camps in the last couple of years?
Yes. You know, when we started with 50 people joining Accenture boot camps. It was like 4 years ago. Now we hire these like 200 people in a year, and 60% juniors, and 60% of these people, even 70, comes from Reskilling. But of course, this is just a hiring which happens at the end. The funnel is much bigger, as you can see based on my presentations, that how many applied, and at the end how many actually were hired. So let's say if it's 70% of 200 or close to 200, so let's assume how many applications do we have. Usually it's you need to multiply by 10. And this is what you can see also. So this interest is growing a lot.
Thank you, Zanda. Doni?